football here on First Take. Sam Darnold quieted the haters over the weekend, completing 25 of 36 passes for 346 yards and 3 touchdowns to take down the Los Angeles Rams and advance to the Super Bowl. Darnold had the deep ball going all game long. He went 7 of 11 for 164 yards and 2 touchdowns on passes thrown 10 or more yards downfield. Meanwhile, in just his second season in the NFL, Drake May has helped the Patriots return to the Super Bowl for the first time since 2018. In the regular season, May led the league in total QBR, completion percentage, yards per attempt. May closed at plus 160 to win the MVP, according to DraftKings Sportsbook, the second favorite only behind Matthew Stafford. So now here's the question. Who has more to gain by winning the Super Bowl? Is it Drake May or is it Sam Darnold? I feel like this is an obvious question because a Super Bowl champion feels like the end-all be-all on a resume. However, how do you feel about it?
I'm going with Sam Darnold on this one. And the reason is journey to me matters. And when you go back to Sam Darnold back in 2018, the 3rd overall pick by the New York Jets, when he was on a team that was really tanking for 2 out of those 3 years, he finds a way to resurrect his career. He gets traded from the New York Jets. He goes over to the Carolina Panthers, spends a few seasons there, not their guy. They're able to move on from. Goes to San Francisco, where he's able to kind of go to quarterback rehab under Kyle Shanahan. As a backup, doesn't play, but gets a chance to learn football from a different perspective without the pressure on him. You think about the amount of confidence that one has to have in themselves to go through with Sam Darnold. Even to this point, we're still talking about his Jets game where he talked about seeing ghosts. Those things live with you within a career. He was able to overcome that, goes over to the Minnesota Vikings, has a good year. And even at the end of that year, his final 2 games, they decide to tell him to kick rocks and move on. They're going with the rookie quarterback coming off a year of injury and J.J. McCarthy. So now he ends up with the Seattle Seahawks. With this team, he's had success, but he's also had some down parts where he's turned the ball over the most of any quarterback in the NFL. Going into championship weekend, no one believed Sam Darnold was going to be able to propel his team to victory and be the reason why they won, to throw for over 300 yards and 3 touchdown passes. So I just look at the totality of his journey. 5 different teams for a 3rd overall pick, to now be in the Super Bowl, to be victorious in that game against a Drake May in his 2nd year who's in the MVP conversation. Mike Vrabel has a chance to not only win the Super Bowl as a player with the New England Patriots, but also as a coach, would be the first one to do that in NFL history. So many things have been stacked against Sam Darnold since his time with the New York Jets. For him to be victorious, I think means so much more. Drake May in only year 2, there's still so much time. First year with Vrabel, for him to be able to get on this stage again. For Sam Darnold, I feel like the moment is now and he has to show up.
Don't you dare be biased because he's a Tar Heel Saturday. Don't you dare.
Listen, I love that J-Mac just said all this nonsense, and he knows better than anybody. Drake May has so much more. He is in the place where Tom Brady now has a statue, where Robert Kraft and his organization has hoisted trophy after trophy after trophy. He's in year 2 with, to your point, Mike Vrabel, a storied portion of the 3 different championships, and now he gets to win it in year 2. He can quickly put himself into the conversation with Patrick Mahomes, right? You start winning time after time after time and get the MVP, even if he doesn't win the MVP, if he's second in the MVP, but their team wins, it puts him in a different stratosphere. And how could you be a Patriot and say, there's a bright future? You don't know what the future holds. You and I both know that's some nonsense. Now is the future. Bro, you better go win right now and put yourself in that conversation where you can put your career at a different trajectory. I love and respect the heck out of what Sam Darnold has done. And what he did in the NFC Championship game was remarkable. He put that team on his back. A lot of people question whether he could or couldn't. He absolutely did. But Drake May, being in his early 20s and going ahead and putting the trophy up, man, by far Drake May has more to gain than anybody else in this conversation.
He did it. I knew he was going to do it. I knew it.
Listen, Jeff makes a decent argument. I mean, I'll get on him about him being too soft to deal with the cold weather up north and get out of out of the south at a different day. I mean, you would think that he would be here, but that's a different story for another day. Him and Canty, I didn't figure that out. What the hell is going on? But I will say this: I'm going to go with you. I'm going to go with you, J-Mac. Listen, when I think about Sam Darnold, Listen, yeah, first of all, I was like, LA's is kryptonite. He going down. He going down. That did not happen. The brothers played like a big-time quarterback. To be 29-4 over the last 2 years, beating everybody but the Rams, and then you just beat the Rams in the NFC Championship game, okay? So, I mean, you talk about exercising those demons. He's done that. Yes, Seattle's defense is big-time, no doubt, but the offense has been nothing shabby. You know, when they beat the Rams in the regular season, they dropped 38 points. You know, this team is capable of putting their 30-plus up on you on a weekly basis. That is not what we have seen from New England's offense. So when I look at Drake May, Jeff, and I say to myself, okay, you know what? He's a damn good quarterback. He's got an incredibly bright future. He's being exceptionally well coached by Vrabel and, of course, Josh McDaniels. And all of that upside is there. And it almost mimics Tom Brady. And then when you look at what happened with the snow, remember the tuck rule and how it all started for the New England Patriots, you know, at the turn of the century and all of that stuff. We saw that, right? And then you see how they're going back to a Super Bowl with similar conditions against Denver. It's like, wow, this is unbelievable, okay? Fine. We get all of that. When you look at Sam Darnold, I think to watch him go toe for toe, tit for tat with the imminent MVP that is Matthew Stafford. I think that's what really closes the deal. I mean, if he wins this Super Bowl, you've got to look at Sam Darnold completely different.
Yep.
And you've got to look at the Seattle Seahawks as I'm talking about for years to come, being coached by McDonald, having their defense as elite as he has them, having a quarterback in Jigba as your premier wideout, okay? Charbonnet once he gets back with Kenneth Walker and stuff like that. You look at Seattle, they're an exceptionally well-balanced team. You don't see it as their defense is carrying them. You see it as if Sam Darnold is doing what the hell an elite quarterback is supposed to do. You look at Drake May and you say, a lot of promise. Congrats to him, props to him, and he'll continue to grow and get better. But you do look at the two teams a little bit differently, and that's why I would go to Sam Darnold as the answer to this question.
It feels a little, no offense, Saturday, a little obvious to me because the narrative could completely change around Sam Darnold with a win. If they go out in the Super Bowl, let's say, and the Seahawks and Sam Darnold, they turn it over, they don't look good on offense, we're going to sit here and be like, dang, same old thing. Whereas Drake May goes out and he doesn't have a good Super Bowl, doesn't play well, we're going to be like, well, we'll see him next year. They have the quarterback, they have the coach, they're in it for the long haul. It's a completely different narrative shift between these two teams. Keep shaking your head. No, I'm right.
Listen, I get what you're saying about the narrative on Sam Darnold and overcoming, but what Drake May, he could be the MVP, right? We're all just going ahead and giving it to Matt Stafford. But what if he is the MVP and wins the Super Bowl his second year? It puts him in a completely different stratosphere. Even if Sam Darnold wins the Super Bowl, you're never going to be, he's not going in the tops of the top. You're talking about a guy starting in year 2, taking that thing on a light ship. I mean, you think about what happened with Patrick Mahomes. He starts and has this the greatest beginning of any career in the NFL history. What if in year 2, that's the mark of Drake May? I mean, even if he doesn't win the MVP, if he wins the Super Bowl, you are going to start putting him in a different category. And by the way, he played well. I know he hasn't played great in the postseason, but he played great throughout the season. You can't take away from him talking about it's a lifetime achievement award. We're talking about right now and who has more to gain. Drake May would definitely have more to gain. I don't get y'all all confused on the question. I don't know what's going on.
And I respect what you're saying about Drake May and where it'll put him, but I think you're downplaying of what it could possibly do for Sam Darnold's career. We're looking at a guy that won 14 games on 2 different teams in back-to-back seasons. The only other quarterback to do that is Tom Brady. So when you're doing things that quarterbacks of that nature have done, it puts you in a different stratosphere. Now, if you combine that with winning a Super Bowl, what's to say that this isn't only the first Super Bowl that Sam Darnold is to win? So what Stephen A. was saying, in Seattle, he can potentially go on a little bit of a run there, and whether they build a dynasty. Now we're talking about Sam Darnold as a potential quarterback that was a 3rd overall pick, didn't have success, found his way to get to good teams and good situations. What if he goes on a trajectory where he wins 3 Super Bowls and potentially a Matthew Stafford type of situation where later in his career, he's an MVP of a league. Now we're talking about him completely different, and that narrative doesn't change unless you win a Super Bowl. So this one has a lot of on the line for Sam Darnold as well.
Well, listen, bottom line is Jeff is wrong. Okay, I mean, there's nothing hard to comprehend here. I mean, that's why that's one of the reasons why he didn't show up in studio today. You know
That's
what I'm
right.
saying? Couldn't deal with the cold weather, couldn't deal
skinny,
with being
Jeff.
wrong on a multitude of subject matters, and that's what's going on here today. That's all. We'll get over it. We understand. I mean, we got it. We got it.
Well, who would have thought of that draft class 2018? It was going to be Sam Darnold, not Baker Mayfield, not Lamar Jackson, not Josh Allen to reach a Super Bowl first, but instead, look at Sam Darnold do it with the Seahawks.
Major props.
Right